Hello, this is No BS Nutrition. Just finished my low bar back squatting today. 3 sets of 5, 185 for one set. Cause I didn't have pretty good form, so I just did the rest. Next week I'm gonna do 3 sets of 5 and try my best. But I want to get into this topic. What is protein, fats, and carbs? Well, I'm gonna quickly get into it and just say protein is building blocks of muscle. Carbs is energy production. And fats is hormone / your fats. That's the basic science of it. I can go on and on about how this is bad, this is good, maybe black and white, blah blah blah. This helps your metabolism, but that's just for the regular baseline. Carbs has 4 calories each gram. Protein has 4. Fats has 9. That's why typically people on a diet or people who has a bigger appetite will probably lead to more carbs and more protein, because protein is satisfying than carbs, and carbs is more filling, especially if you pick more vegetables. It's just more filling, and less calories equals more food than the fats. Fats you do need for hormone production, at least, especially if you're training and weight training. I will say at least 80 grams of fat. That's about 88 times 9, 720 calories. Because you do need fats. People get confused thinking fats are bad for you. Fat doesn't make you fat. Fat can turn to fat faster because it's fat than protein and carbs. Yes, that is true. But at the same time, what's going to make you fat is the calories you consume over your maintenance and not burning. Over time, that can make you fat. Now, of course, you burn more calories if you eat more and blah, blah, blah. That will make you fat. That's just the baseline. It's calories in versus calories out. But it depends what type of calories you are consuming. So keep in mind that too, because if we're consuming 3,000 calories of mostly processed foods, you'll feel more sluggish. Your gut microbiome will be terrible. You'll be more unhealthy. Blood pressure's higher, etc. If you eat more whole food, at least 90%, you'll feel better. You'll get things done easier. Different mindset, because if you have a bad gut, of course you'll feel terrible. You probably put anger on someone else. So keep in mind of that as well. So protein, carbs, and fats are just pretty much your 3 macronutrients you should aim for. Macronutrients you should aim for. That's the simplest term. I'm gonna make this video try to make it as simple as possible. If you're on a diet, I suggest you eat more carbs and you eat more protein, because if you're more hungry, or you tend to eat more, and you won't be on that diet. That is true. But you shouldn't bypass your fats unless you're eating to a certain point that is barely enough. Like if you're eating 1,600, yes, it's going to be difficult to get maybe 80 grams of fat if you're so hungry all the time, because you don't have no more food, That's really 720 calories, and if you're eating 1,600, that's only 900 calories left over. So keep in consideration, yes, what's healthy, what's unhealthy for me. So if your maintenance is 3,000 calories, you're on 2,500, you should at least aim for 80 grams of fat or more. That's what I suggest too. Carbs, you want to eat more whole carbs to help you process both digestion. So potatoes, oatmeal with carbs, it comes with protein, so you don't have an insulin spike every time you just eat a whole carb by itself. Like, I'm not saying eat an apple, that's terrible for you, but I'm just saying you don't want to spike your insulin every freaking time by just eating just carbs. You want to have some fats with it, especially with some fats, to lower the glycemic effect of it and insulin reduction as well. But with fats, it is typically, and with carbs too, typically you want to have some protein with every meal. So at least 30 grams with every meal. That's the bare minimum. They recommend 25. I don't like 25. I like 30. So that's what I recommend. Carbs is just the carbs, protein, fats are just the 3 micronutrients. Not macronutrients. Yeah, macronutrients. Not micro. Hold up. Macros. The 3 macros. I apologize. 3 macros you should be aiming for when you're on a diet, when you're on maintenance, and when you're on a surplus. Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't make you fat. What really makes you fat is the calories you consume. And yes, this video is about only protein, carbs, and fats. But since we're talking about fat, people say, oh, fats are bad, so I have to eat like 40 grams. But you actually possibly get fat because your hormones are imbalanced because you're only eating 20 grams of fat. Okay, hormones are way more important than carbs. That's why you could be on a ketogenic diet and have energy production, which comes from ketones. We don't need carbs to survive. Our ancestors literally just ate fat. We can live on fat. We can't just live on carbs. If we live on carbs, we have hormone deficiencies that will lead to weight gain, possibly. Hormone imbalances, which low testosterone, not quality of life, not production energy balances, blah 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 blah. You don't want to hear that, right? Okay, so just eat the bare minimum of fats if you can. If you hate fat so much, even though it's delicious, and I recommend you cram in fat. If you're not on a diet. If you're on a diet, okay, it depends where your calories at, blah blah blah. That's on you. I won't say that's bad to lower your fat, but if you're on a diet, it's different. But if you're on maintenance, still at least aim for 80 grams of fat if you can. At least 30 grams of every meal that you consume. So if you're eating 3 meals a day till 5, but sometimes people eat 3, I believe that. Then at least 30, depends more, of course, because depends how much you need. But that's really it. That's what carbs, proteins, and fats are. I put a little side notes here and there throughout this video to say why people hate these macronutrients. So maybe people will not tend to lead to carbs because they're on a keto purposes for diet, for just control purposes, blood pressure, or maybe they eat more carbs for being more full. I did keto too for a month. I felt great. I know my body responds well from it, but it's just my life choices that I do like carbs. So I do want carbs in my diet. I do 4 main groups. So dairy, carbs, fats, and blah blah blah. Not blah blah blah. The 4 main groups you want: fish. You want all that. You want to have 4 balances in your diet. If you want to stick to one, that's perfectly fine. Just make sure you supplement. If you're doing more meat-based, you might want to eat more fiber, so you might want to supplement with fiber. If you're doing less fats, you might want to supplement with fish oil, something that will at least help your balances out. And if you're eating, yeah, that's really it. That's really it. And I really focus on carbs and fats because that's the 2 main things of energy as well. Protein is more just building muscle and helping you. It is important as well because if you eat 0 protein, this also could cause problems. But that typically people associate carbs are bad, fats are better, fats are bad, carbs are better. Really, it's not how much you consume per se. It's really how much you consume over your maintenance that will make you fat, and that's what people attend, carbs and fats. It will make you fat. But really just have a balanced diet, eat at maintenance. If you eat over that, over time you will develop fat, no matter what purpose, okay? Because you eat more calories than you burn. You want to make sure these foods are good when you consume them as well. So the food choices are as important than just eating carbs and fat. Okay, like I said, if you eat more processed food, you will feel worse, and you won't be as you will be as hungry because it's quick, digestive, the taste, the process, how they manufacture. You will be more hungry. added sugars in chips, even though they're more salty. They put sugar because actually, when your glycemic index is high, your gut will actually tend to crave that thing. It will put a signal into your brain that you want more of that processed food. That's what I'm struggling on too. Of course, I don't eat as much. I used to eat 80-20 on my bulk. And that really, even though it's 80-20, it's not the worst thing. It's just over time, mentally, that can actually have a downside. So right now, I'm only eating 90-10 and keeping that to a bare minimum, which I'm pretty proud of myself right now. And trying to keep my sugar low. So that's why I suggest, that's what protein, carbs, and fats is. It depends what you're doing. If you're on a diet, like I said, if you're on maintenance or you're on a surplus, it depends how you will divide those 3 macronutrients. What I would say is the link in the description below. Go to Coach Greg, James Remington. They really talk about these 2 things. I suggest Coach Greg, and I suggest also Mind Pump as well. They explain it a little bit more better. Andrew Huberman, he talks about sugar and stuff, but he has long videos, so you guys might not want to watch a long podcast, but he's very interesting, so I also recommend him as well. Bye, guys. This is No BS Nutrition, and just ask questions in the comments below.